The best player on the court tonight, without question, was Jalen Brunson. He put the team on his back, scored 43 points, had 8 assists and 6 rebounds. He was also efficient, 16 of 32 from the field, which of course is 50%, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. That's something that Brunson's been doing a good job of the entire season. He's top 13 in free throw attempts. He just finds a way to score. His 3-ball, he was 2 of 6, which is pretty good. But Brunson, he was getting it done in the paint. He was attacking, and of course it led to open looks from 3. He also had a lot of dumb ball passes to Hartenstein. He had that floater. Isaiah played well in this game. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds, had a steal and an assist. Hartenstein was just always in the right spot. He was setting good screens, rolling to the basket. Mitchell Robinson, of course, is coming off of an injury, so they're trying to ease him back in. He played his 19 minutes tonight, but it's going to be interesting to see how the Knicks use this big man rotation in the playoffs, because they're going to have Hartenstein, Robinson, and Precious Achiuwa, of course. Jericho Sims is a fan favorite. He's a guy that a lot of Knicks fans believe, if given the right opportunity, could thrive, but I don't think we're going to be seeing much of him, of course, this season. And last season, he actually did start a decent amount of games, and the Knicks played well, but right now there's just a lot of depth on this team. I mean, the Knicks brought in 4 players off of their bench. No Burks tonight, no Sims, of course no Toppin, but to get in Mitch and McBride, Bogdanovic, Achiuwa, it feels like Coach Tibb right now has, I would say, 9 guys in his rotation that he feels confident with. I don't think we're going to see much of Achiuwa in the playoffs unless teams are going small, because to that point he would be our best option. Like, Mitchell Robinson against a small ball lineup, I mean, it has its pros and cons, of course, with the rebounding and the shot blocking, but overall it might be just a little bit too much. And then, of course, Hartenstein is kind of an in-between guy where we're going to start him no matter what the matchup is. But in terms of the minutes for Coach Tibb, he's definitely going to distribute them differently depending on the team that we play. I mean, if we go up against the Magic, or we go up against a team like, I don't know, randomly like the Sixers, right? Like, it's going to be different depending on who we're facing. But I do think that the Knicks like what they have right now. Without Julius Randle, it's definitely not the same team. I mean, before Randle got injured, the Knicks legitimately were 16-2 in the month of January. That was nearly the best record in franchise history, and the Knicks have been around for a long time. I mean, they've been around for over 50 years to this point, so it was a great month. But it feels like as quick as it came, it just sort of disintegrated just as quickly because, of course, of the injuries. But to get OG back, you can see that this is just a different team. He's got shot creation ability as well. I mean, 38 minutes and I had just 4 points, but you can see OG can find his shot, and he was getting good looks. He just didn't knock them down. But I mean, that's basketball. You're not going to make every shot, obviously, but 2 blocks, 4 steals. His defense was big tonight. I mean, we know Giannis is going to get his, there's no one in the NBA that's going to be able to lock down Giannis every single possession. He had 28, 15, and 8. But down the stretch of this game in the second half, you could see Giannis was not the same player, whereas Jalen Brunson was elevating his game. We saw Dante DiVincenzo get hot. I mean, 8 of 11 from 3. He was shooting the ball as confidently, and I would say not confidently because we know Devo is going to have the green light no matter what, but it just seemed like the confidence that he had was absolutely unreal. I mean, every time he shot the ball, it looked like it was going in. He hit like 3 or 4 in a row at the end of the game and had some words for some fans courtside, which I thought was pretty cool. In terms of the playoffs, I mean, that's what we're getting into. I mean, the Knicks have just, 4 games left? Yeah, we've got 4 games left. The Bulls are twice. Boston is on Thursday, and then Brooklyn is Friday. If we can get 3 of those 4 games, I'd feel very confident. To that point, the Knicks would have a great chance at the 3 seed. But we've been talking about this for weeks now, if not a month. It doesn't matter exactly what seed the Knicks are. It matters how healthy they are. Because Boston, yes, they're the best team in the East. I would say they're one of the top 2 teams in the NBA. I think Denver's probably the best team in the NBA. I think Boston's second. But we have seen Boston the past couple playoffs fall short. Like last year, they won 60 games as well, and they lost to a Heat team that also beat us. So in the second round, I mean, to that point, fully healthy Knicks team minus Randle, which they're, I guess, technically not fully healthy without Randle. But I think without Randle, we're going to have a very good chance against Boston because the ball is going to be moving. And of course, we're going to be able to switch absolutely everything. I mean, this is a very unique lineup for the Knicks with Hart and OG and DiVincenzo. You've got 3 guys that can guard multiple positions, that make it tough and are scrappy physical players. Jalen Brunson's definitely an above average defender. We know he's always going to be at the top of the league in terms of charges drawn. Isaiah Hartenstein, I've liked what I've seen out of him as well. I mean, Mitch is clearly our best big man defender. So I do think against Boston, we'd be seeing a lot more Mitchell Robinson. But in terms of the first round against the Magic or potentially going up against the Cavaliers, I guess we'll wait and see who it ends up being. I mean, obviously, best case scenario would be getting that 3 seed and facing off against either the Heat or the Pacers. I definitely would not want to play the Heat because they're a different team in the playoffs. I'd rather play Indiana, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too concerned with the Heat, even though they did just beat us in Miami. But of course, OG did not play in that game. With OG, the Knicks are a much different team. So I do think we can beat anyone in the East with OG, even without Randall. If not, go 7 games. I think even Boston would be a 7-game series. I mean, I know we haven't beaten them this year, but again, we haven't faced Boston with OG. So just his defense and his playoff experience. I mean, obviously he's won a championship and he's had playoff runs and things like that, so that's definitely going to help the Knicks. But the biggest thing isn't even just that. It's more so of the playoff experience that the Knicks gained last season, of course, going up against Cleveland, going up against Miami. The two common themes for those series were that they were both elite defenses, and I think that's going to help the Knicks, of course, enter their translation into this season. I think the Knicks were a pretender last playoffs. I think now they're a contender. There's a much difference of a team, and also, the playoffs is going to be wide open. As good as Boston is, I mean, they've got 62 wins. The next closest has 47, which is the Bucks. Boston, we've seen the Knicks and them have some good games this year. Of course, the first game of the year came down to the wire. It ended up being just a 4-point game. And then Boston did beat us by 10 points in the next game, but that was back when we had like RJ and that. And then the last time we played Boston, we lost by 14. But I mean, that game just got away from us in the fourth quarter. I mean, I don't remember exactly that game too well, but I do remember it was even going into the fourth, and then they kind of just took away. But I just think the Knicks, they've got enough talent around them, and with Brunson playing the way that he's played all season, establishing himself, to me, as one of the top 5 MVP candidates in the league, from a bias perspective, obviously, I do think the Knicks are going to have a really good chance. And also, the three-point shooting has been impressive as well. I mean, we've got so many shooters that are over 40%. Miles McBride right now is over 40, Bogdanovich, Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG is close. We just have a bunch of firepower. But I think the key for the Knicks is going to be their ability to defend. How well can we defend against these top teams in the playoffs? Because if we can do a good job of that, then we're going to have a great chance. Because the Knicks, these games against the top teams in the league, they have been doing a good job of scoring, but sometimes the defense just gets away from them. I feel like the Knicks offensively can match up with anyone in the NBA, the Nuggets, the Celtics. It's just defensively, are they going to have an answer for Brown and Tatum and Murray and Jokic? And that's going to be the question. That's the importance of OG. He's one of the best defenders. He can switch all 5 positions. But yeah, really outside of that, if you take a look at the Magic schedule, they've got Milwaukee twice over the last 4 games. They also have Philadelphia. Joel Embiid is back. And then the Houston Rockets. Unfortunately, we're eliminated from playoff contention today, but they're still a young team that's going to play hard. So the Magic, there's a good chance that they end up losing 2 of their next 4 games. And the Knicks have a good chance to win 3 of their next 4 games. I mean, it's all hypothetically speaking, but the Bulls, those are games the Knicks just have to win. Like, you can't lose to the Bulls like the Knicks did Friday night. And then, of course, you've got Boston, which no one's going to expect the Knicks to win that game. If they do, that would be great. But Brooklyn, you've got to win that game. So if the Knicks can take 3 of 4, the Magic lose 2 of the next 4, then we would get the number 3 seed, which would mean avoiding Boston in the second round.